Hello there, viewer, and welcome to yet another edition of the program Not Just a Woman. My name is Rose Okinda. Today we are joined by a very young woman indeed. Her name is Michelle Josephine. Michelle is only 19 years old, a student at Moore University main campus at Kasese, and she joins us here on set today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You're very young. You're very young, but at the same time you have quite a story to tell. Before we go into it, please, Michelle, where were you born and raised? Share a little bit about your background information.
I was born in Nairobi, Umoja Estate. That's where I grew for most of my childhood. Yeah, with my mom and my sister. My mom was a single mother. Yeah, we lived in Umoja. As in, my whole life was in Umoja until later on we moved to Ruai, still in Nairobi. Yeah, where my mom bought herself a house and a plot, and she built her own place, and we stayed there for some time.
You know what they say about families? There are families which are dysfunctional. Every family is dysfunctional in their own way, some more than others. Would you describe your family as a normal family growing up?
I'd not call it normal, but it was just okay. Because we were only three. My mom, my small sister, she's called Terry, and she's 3 years younger than me, and then me. Yeah, that's how we stayed for most of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always like this. There was once a father,
Yeah.
you had a father,
Yeah.
and your mom, and your little sister. So what happened to your father?
Oh, my dad passed away in 2001 when I was 3. My sister was 1. I don't have much memories about him, but I can remember some tidbits of him, like him driving me in the car to Kikanae, seated on the seat, and he's holding me on his lap, and then we're making rounds around the estate. It was fun for me because at that time I was young. I used to think I was driving on my own. I didn't know about the pedals down there because I didn't reach. But yeah, those are just the small memories I have about him. And another time we were in the sitting room watching TV, and he sent me to the kitchen. All the rest are stories I was told about him. He was an actor. He used to do live plays. We actually have books at home that he used to read, and some videos that he used to act. He was nice. Out of the stories we were told by my mom and our relatives, he was a nice person, generous, happy, very funny. He liked jokes.
Yeah.
A lot.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to ask, it's always difficult when somebody loses a parent, whether it's your mother or your father.
Yeah.
In your own words, how do you think this changed your life growing up without a father? Sometimes you go out and you play and somebody says, Baba yangu alisema, my father is going to take us here. How was it growing up? How did it change your life?
It was hard growing up without a father, because some things that you hear your friends talking about that their dad does, our mom had to do that. She was our mom and she was our dad. And she did a very good job at it. But sometimes, we are all human. Sometimes I'd look at my friends when they're playing or giving us stories about their dad, and I'd ask myself, why don't I have a father? As in, why don't I have dad to buy a car and drop me off to school, or dad to make the sink, small things, kutengeneza mlango or padlock, the handy things that men do. I wasn't used to seeing a man around the house. It was also very hard because it was hard to carry myself around men, because I wasn't, when you have a father in the house, at least you know how men behave, but
Right.
I didn't have that. I always stayed around ladies, my mom's friends, her sisters and all. The only men I came across were the uncles, and maybe once a week or once a month, relatives. Yeah, it was kind of hard.
So it did impact your life growing up without a father.
Yeah.
But this tragedy was not the only tragedy. I wonder how old you are when you lost your mother.
I lost my mom when I was 15, back in 2012, October. She died in hospital. She was sick. I was in school. I was in boarding school by then.
Yes.
So she was sick for some time, almost a week, and then things just went south, and she passed on a Tuesday, early in the morning, around 2 a.m. And then the next day, my aunt, Auntie Sarah, she came for me in school. She was like my second mom because they were really close with my mother. She was my mother's sister-in-law.
Yes.
Yeah. She came for me in school in Nakuru. I was in Blesco House Girls High School. She came for me, and then she told me my mom was in hospital, so we'd had to go home and see her.
So she lied.
Yeah, okay. I think she just didn't want to break the news yet.
Yes.
Because I was not yet with my sister, because she was also gone. Walikuwa wameenda kumchukua at school. Yeah. So all the way, I was traveling to Nairobi knowing that I'm going to see my mom in hospital. I tried to give myself some hope and tell myself she's going to be okay. You know, my mom was a very strong woman.
Yes.
I've never seen someone as strong as her, and I don't think I'd ever will. She was really strong. She rarely got sick, and if she did, she hid it.
Yes.
As in, you know, she had to be strong for her daughters.
Yes.
Yeah. So I went home later on that evening. When with my sister, we were told the news.
Yes.
And my heart broke. I felt like my world ended at that time. I was shocked. I couldn't talk for like 5 minutes. Just had these many thoughts running in my head. And then in the background, I had my sister crying. And it all came on me, you know. My mom's gone, and
that
we
is
were
true.
only 3, and now we are only 2. And my sister was in class 7 then, and she was a boarder for only like 1 year. But she was the one who was so used to my mom. You know, I had started boarding from class 7, so I was kind of used to staying away from home. But then my heart went to my sister. You know, she's the youngest. She's mommy's girl. My mom used to call her sweetie.
Yes.
So she's the youngest, and she's our baby, and she's crying, and I just had to pull myself together for her. I just kept on telling myself, Michelle, you're now the eldest one. You're now the big sister, the mother, the father, yani I'm everything to my sister. So I had to get up and, you know, gather myself. I didn't have time to like break and all.
And grieve.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to come to that, and I said people grieve differently. But you being the firstborn, it's a little bit tough, and I think we've had that talk with you before.
Yeah.
Firstborns always feel like they have to rise to the occasion. You are the first one. There are others behind you that look up to you. How did you grieve for your mother? Because they say if you don't do it, it catches up to you sooner
Yeah.
rather than later. How
Yeah.
did you grieve for her?
I think everybody has a different way of grieving. Okay, I didn't cry much because I wanted to look strong, and every auntie and uncle of mine kept on telling me, Michelle, wendo mkubwa, you have to be strong for Terry. You know, you're the only one she has right now. There's nobody else. So just sometimes alone when I'm watching movies, or when I'm just in the room alone, I'd cry for like a minute, and then I wipe my tears. Yeah, and then I try and give myself strength, and I pray. I pray for God's help, because I can tell you, I wouldn't be anywhere right now without God.
True.
You know, everybody has a different way how they communicate with their God, and I'd always whisper small, silent prayers to my God and tell him to give me that strength, and to give me that, to comfort me, and to rub my soul with, you know, peace. And he gave me peace. I still remember my mom right now. I still cry for her. I won't lie. I still feel like the wound is still fresh. But,
Yes.
you know, I'm strong. You know, these things make you stronger. Yeah, I can say I'm okay. Though I can't forget. Now and then it haunts me.
All right. Which brings me to this question. You've talked about strength. You've talked about these conversations that you have with God. You're only 19, Michelle. I'm looking at you. You're only 19. You are way too young to be saying the things that you're even saying. I guess my question is, do you feel like you had to grow up faster than you should have? Because right now, people your age, they're out having a party. They're thinking of what they're going to do over the weekend. They're thinking of clothes and what next hairstyle. You are talking about having moments with God, being strong for your sister, being told, Michelle, wewe ndio mkubwa. So summoning the courage inside you to be able to become the mother, like you're calling yourself a mother. And you're the father. And you're so young. Do you think you had to grow up so fast?
Yeah, I had to grow up really fast, you know. I can't like run and say my problems to mom. Ati mom nimechokozwa. I can't say that anymore. You know, I have to keep it to myself.
Yes.
And you know, Terry is always looking up to me. And then it's not only Terry, there are also relatives who are always looking at me to see if I'm doing well, if I'm failing, how strong I am, if I'm growing up, if I'm living up to the expectations. You know, there's so many eyes on me.
Right.
But sometimes I feel it's like a challenge. It's really challenging sometimes because I reach a place and I feel like the burden is too heavy for me to carry. And then again, I have to give myself that strength, you know, because I can't, at the end of the day, I can't run somewhere and say, Mom, I'm tired, Mom, sijui nini. No, I don't have that privilege anymore. So, yeah.
You talked about an aunt of yours who was really a rock for you when your mom passed away. And I think we had that discussion with you, and you said she's a guardian to you. She was a guardian to you. And just when you were about to do your Form 4 examinations, something happened.
Yeah.
What happened?
She was called Auntie Sarah, but I used to call her Mom because even before my mom passed, she really used to treat us well. I used to love her. Sometimes I used to cry to my mom and tell her, tunataka kwenda kwa Auntie Sarah, me and my sister. So when my mom passed, she was there. She made sure everything was in place, you know. She took us in. She lived with us. And then she always treated us like her children, you know, my sister and I. So we were 4 kids. She had 2 kids of her own. And she was just, she was a godsend. I can't even explain it with my words.
Yes.
She loved us. She guided us. Alituchapa tukifanya makosa, you know. The love was just, it was just, I can't even describe it. She was just always there for us. She tried her best. Yani, I could see her struggle for us. She fought for us, you know. You know, when my mom passed, there was a lot of drama with the family members. And she always stood by us. She fought for us, you know, she defended us. She made sure we had something to eat. She made sure school fees was paid. Okay, money was raised for our upkeep and all.
Right.
And then there was insurance for my mom. She made sure it was not squandered. And
Yes.
her, together with my Auntie Catherine and Auntie Dora, all 3 of them worked hand in hand. But I lived with Auntie Sarah till 2014.
What happened in 2014?
Okay, she was a bit sickly. She had some headaches and all, you know. But she used to, you know, she was strong, yeah. So she just like measure painkillers and all, and then get up for us. So third term, Form 4, I remember we had a Parents' Day right before the exams, before even prayer day. And then she came, she saw our teachers, you know, where I was not doing right. She scolded me a bit, and then she'd brought me some food and some snacks that she cooked. And then we sat there in the evening, we ate, and then we had a nice time. Then when it reached, you know, it was in Nakuru, and she stayed in Nairobi, so when it was around 3, she had to come back. So I said bye. And yeah, she went home. And then on my prayer day, I was really expecting her. You know, she's my mom, and we had these preparations. I was going to sing, and I really wanted her to sing.
Yes.
Yeah, and then my uncle came. Now her husband came together with Auntie Dora and some other friends and family. And I was told that she's going to see my sister. So I fell for it a bit. Then I understood that she couldn't be able to come visit me on my prayer day because there was also my sister who was studying in Butere Girls. You know, it's also far, so she can't, you know, divide herself. So later on, I did my exams well, and then it came the day for me being picked. So Auntie Dora and Uncle Tony came together with some other friends and picked me up from school with all my stuff. And then we went home. On our way, we stopped for Nyama Choma, and then they broke the news to me. And I couldn't, it was just the worst thing that had happened to me, you know, because I'd not yet even come around my mom passing.
What was the news?
That Auntie Sarah had passed, that she died right before I did my exams, but they couldn't tell me because they didn't want me to go haywire, you know, with my exams and all.
Yes.
And I can tell you it was another worst moment. My head just couldn't process that information, you know.
Too much loss happening around you.
Yeah, I had so many questions. I had so many questions. But I can't, so you know, she was the mother I had. She was my mom's replacement.
Yes.
She did a good job, as in I fell into her love and her arms, you know, because she was my mother and all. And losing her again was the worst news ever. It was really bad.
All right. Before we go into a break, I just want to, you know, shed light in how you did in your KCSE examinations. Of course, all of these things were happening, and some of the things that were happening were being withheld from you because you're doing exams. But obviously, you are at Moi University. How did you perform?
Average. I did well. Average. I performed averagely. At least I got to get into the university. You know, I don't see it bad that they chose to withheld that information from me, but also it helped me because I'm so sure if they had broken the news, I'd really underperform, you know. So I really appreciate that thought that they took. They didn't tell me first.
All right. Michelle, I think you're very strong. You are very strong for someone your age. I think you have suffered great loss, but I think even as you live your life right now, you're a true example that we are able to rise above our losses and still do well and still have dreams. And when we come back, we are talking about those dreams because there's something you're doing. Maybe you'll tell us why you chose the course that you chose when we come back.
Okay.
The program is Not Just a Woman. My name is Rose Okenda. We have Michelle Josephine right here with us, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.